AfterBuzz TV, starting place to the likes of WWE female superstars Cathy, Kelley, Sonya, Deville, and Zelina Vega proudly presents Women's Wrestling Weekly, the world's first podcast and YouTube series dedicated exclusively to women's wrestling, featuring all the latest news as well as interviews with top superstars in the industry. And now, AfterBuzz TV's own gorgeous lady of wrestling, TK Trinidad.
Welcome, guys. You're watching Women's Wrestling Weekly, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. My name is TK Trinidad, aka the Canadian Assassin, and I am not alone. She hails from the Valley. She is the farmer's daughter. Please welcome Emily May. Oh, turn on your mic there.
Hi, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. You know, those buttons.
And you could often see him practicing the intro dance for Melina. Please welcome Bryant Santos.
Yes, gotta do a little bit of splits on my couch. How are y'all doing?
Good.
We need to get a video of that one day.
Yes.
And TikTok.
I know, right? And we always have guests, and today is no different. She is a model, a pro wrestler. Please welcome La Reina Reganeta. I was close. Please welcome Amber Rodriguez.
Hey, I'm happy to be here. It's La Reina Renegada.
Ironically, my goal for this quarantine was to practice Spanish again, but obviously I haven't do it, so eventually. But thank you for joining us. Shout out to Brittany Nicole for actually putting this together, so I definitely want to give kudos to her for that. But let's kind of get into it. You've been wrestling for a minute. You started in 2012. Tell us the difference from when you started to now.
So I actually have a pretty unique story. I started training in 2010. Actually, I was only 15 years old. I started at Gilbert's Pro Wrestling Academy, and then eventually switched over to Maryland Championship Wrestling. And yeah, like you said, started actively taking bookings in 2012. I had literally graduated high school and then was on the road wrestling. The first time, and when I say that, that's because I actually stopped wrestling in 2015 and joined the military, and then started back up actively taking bookings again this year. And then with all this going on, it's been a fun year so far.
Interesting.
But yeah, the first time around compared to now, it's crazy how 4 years away from the ring can make a night and day difference. Everything from, just energies in the locker room, like the climate is just a lot better now than it was then. Actually, I had went from the East Coast to now being down south. I'm in Mobile, Alabama. And so the scene, the Southern wrestling scene is so much different from being on the East Coast. Even the wrestling style in the ring is different. So yeah, it's a long list of differences.
So when you
go on.
OTK, when you first started wrestling, what was that moment like for you? Because you're training, at 15.
It was interesting. It kept me out of trouble for sure. I come from a really rough neighborhood. I grew up in the DMV, and so I always loved wrestling. I always loved watching it. I actually started with my brothers. One of them being Chuck Lennox from Future of Honor or MCW, and yeah, so we were always just looking for ways to get away from that day-to-day environment, and pro wrestling provided that. It kept us out of trouble and gave us that escape that we needed.
I saw on your
Now, I heard in a previous interview.
Good, TK, go ahead.
Go on, Brandon. I saw in a previous interview that you are really close friends with Nyla Rose. Kind of tell us about that relationship and how you guys are inspiring each other through this kind of women's evolution.
Oh, she's awful. No, I'm just kidding. No, I love her. That's my sister. She's always been my sister. Actually, we used to live together. So,
wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's just she's like my soulmate. We will always be close, and I am just beyond happy for her. Like, better late than never, but she's deserved this opportunity, and everything she's getting, she's more than deserving of it. And it should have happened a long time ago, but like I said, better late than never. But yeah, she's a star, and she's always been an inspiration to me. Even, the first time I was wrestling, we were on the road every weekend wrestling each other. So, and even at that time, she's very ambitious, and it would be times where I would just, I don't know, be in my head, and, she'd push me, and, vice versa, and then even when I stepped away from the ring, we kept in contact, we kept that close friendship. And, even now with me coming back into it, she's actually a huge influence on me getting back into the ring and getting back into doing what I love, seeing her make it, of course I was happy for her, but it just kind of made me wonder, like, man, I wonder what would have happened if I had stuck with it, and she's like, come back and see, and so it feels good to just have that person 24/7 that I can always count on and call and, pick her brain and, whatever.
Yeah, that's amazing. Did she give you any specific advice in a moment while you were either training or whether when you were getting back into it that has stuck with you?
I mean, it was always her saying, you got this, you know what you're doing, you got this. And just her reminding me of who I am and, what I'm capable of doing, and just getting that confidence out of me.
I love that. I have a quick question about, I saw on your recent gear that you paid homage to the LGBT community as an ally. So I just thought that was amazing. So what inspired you to do that, and how was that whole process like?
Nyla.
Oh, and
Yeah, so like, it's funny because I actually come from a very old school Christian family. Um, so I was not really sheltered, but I was ignorant to certain things. And it wasn't until I had friends like Nyla and referee William Jackson, that's another huge friend of mine. Um, and just, yeah, having friends that are in the LGBTQ community and just seeing what they go through, just to be themselves, it's crazy, and yeah, so that gear is actually the colors of the trans pride flag.
mm-hmm.
And, seeing all the hate Nyla was getting for such a huge accomplishment, it, in a weird way, I guess, inspired me to, like, come out and say, hey, like, that's not okay. Like, let
Mm-hmm.
me do something to make a statement and show that I stand with not just her, but everybody
I love that. As a member of the community, we stand with you, so we love it.
in that community.
So now, you mentioned that you had taken a break. You went into the military. Have you implemented any of your military experience into wrestling, like starting up wrestling again, like taking the elements from that?
If anything, it's the other way around. So wrestling training, I would say, is more intense than my military training. Even the workout regimen is more intense. So if anything, I kind of use different, like, workouts that I picked up from wrestling and implement it um, into my PT in the military. So it's actually the other way around to answer your question.
And now, you mentioned that you have a 2-year-old. So how is that, prior to this coronavirus era, how was that like deciding to start wrestling again and bouncing a 2-year-old and, being in a relationship?
So she's actually another influential factor in, my decision to come back to the ring. I just want her to see that, no matter what you go through, no matter what life throws at you, chase your dream and don't stop chasing your dream. And even if you put it down for a little bit and decide you want to pick it back up later in life, you absolutely can do that. I feel like my generation, it's a lot of people kind of treat having children like, that's it. You know what I mean? And it's not. It's just the beginning, and I'm so happy to have her along for the ride with me. And, I want to make her proud, and I want her to see that, hey, like, I want to be that example for her. Like, you can be whatever you want to be. You can have it all. You can be a mom, a wrestler, whatever you want to do.
Now, as far as being a person of color, when you first started in 2010 to now, like we're seeing I'm seeing, maybe you could tell a little different from being more behind the scenes. We're seeing an explosion of people of color in the wrestling world, especially women of color as well. Can you tell us again your experiences, like from then? Did you experience anything negative? And now jumping back in, are you seeing the change at all, or is it kind of the same?
The first time around, I was very fortunate to not um have any like negative experiences. I actually have friends that have gone through like some racial issues in wrestling, and I was very fortunate to not have to go through that, but I have seen it, and it is unfortunate. I mean, now I definitely do see, like you said, a huge change. I mean, you've got multiple women of color even on TV, and at one time that within itself was unheard of. I mean, growing up, I had like Jacqueline, Jazz, and I think that was it. And now, there's so many other people, and it means so much for some little girl to look at the TV and see somebody who looks like her, and know that she can do this too. So I'm really happy to see it. And like you said, this plague going around, it really halted um so much progress that the world was making. But once all this blows over, I'm excited to see what the future unfolds.
Yeah. So what are you looking forward to most once we kind of can get back to wrestling?
Yeah, just getting back to a sense of normalcy. I mean, like just being back on the road doing shows again. I feel like I was really starting to take off again, and this really just kind of halted my momentum. But I mean, I'm making the best of it. I'm still training, every day. I work out every day. Um, but yeah, I'm just really excited to be back taking shows, getting my face out there, doing as much as I can.
Yeah. Have you modified a lot of your training regimen while, at home?
It's mostly just body workouts. I'm actually huge into pole fitness as well.
I
So
That's
love
amazing.
that.
That's
Tell us
amazing.
about that.
That's
I,
awesome.
do you have it in like your backyard, your living room?
yeah, it's in my living room. I have a pole.
I
I have a
love
pole gym.
that.
Yeah.
For
And
some reason, I see your daughter in the background while you're like doing all the
yeah,
pole exercises and stuff like that.
I love it. It's great for core, right?
It is.
yeah, and your upper
It's such
body.
a workout.
And I used to be able to go to the actual studio before all this happened, but like I said, now I'm just doing what I can with what I'm given. But yeah, my daughter, she definitely is into it too.
Amazing.
So tell us the game plan. So you're back. You have inspiration. I saw in an interview that you kind of just you lost the motivation to do it. So now you're back. You have the inspiration. You're going after it. What's your game plan, and where do you hope your career is going to be in the next year, 2 years, 5 years?
Hopefully, I'll be on TV on a regular basis within that time. My game plan is just to hit the ground running like I was doing, work hard, and I always strive to be an inspiration, especially to other women. Um, like you had mentioned, I had lost my motivation the first time around and stepped away and kind of did some soul searching and found something different with the military. But even with that, um, I had dealt with so much in my life, especially at that time. I actually dealt with sexual assault, and so that's another thing that is a driving force for me, because I want to show people, hey, like, you can take your life back. You can come back from this. So I just want to inspire.
And dream matches. Anybody you wanna have a match with?
Oof, so much. Nyla again, like now that we're both at a different point in our lives, I think we'll definitely make some magic now on top of the 20,000 matches we already have. Who else? Me and Trevor Eon was actually set to have a match, so hopefully that's still on the table when all this is over. And I love intergender matches, by the way. I'm a huge fan of them. Love doing them. They're very fun. Ashton Starr in a singles match would be great. Alex Gracia in a singles, because we've done triple threat, but never singles. Mickey James again. It's a long list. Eva Lise is like somebody else who is a huge influence on me, and I would love to share the ring with her. And Thunder Rosa, I always gotta throw her in there.
Yes, Thunder Rosa is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
That's a credible list right there. I like.
I know, right? We gotta schedule all those.
Make it happen. So now, with everything that's going on, you know, we have we thought that WWE was going to be doing pre-tapes. They kind of got the governor to sign off for them to do live tapes. What's your feeling on that? Do you think that, you know, would you take a step back and say, you know, no, I want to keep myself and my family, you know, together, even though they're doing everything possible to keep the wrestlers safe? Like, what's your feeling on that news?
I feel like I get what you're saying as far as, you know, keeping your family, keeping everyone safe. But at the same time, you know, I feel like wrestling does have an obligation to the people, you know, so I definitely agree with it being essential. I mean, it provides that escape that we all need, you know, especially during times like this. So I fully support, you know, them being essential, and I think it's great, and I think it's again a step in the right direction for wrestling to be taken serious and, you know, given the credibility it deserves.
And then last question, as a mom, like, did you get any like blowback from, you know, wanting to step back into the wrestling ring? I know we're now seeing a lot of moms, you know, you have the Bella twins and etc., you know, entering into the ring, but do you get any blowback from that, or women encouraging you, or what's the feeling with that?
So when I first announced that I was even pregnant, so many people were like, "Oh, guess you're not coming back now," or "Man, that's, you know, why would you do that? You ruined your life. You're not gonna have anything." Like, it was so negative, and it was just so disgusting. And it's like, this is a weird comparison, but I remember Cardi B when she announced she was pregnant, and people were like, "Oh, your career's just starting," and blah blah blah. How about congratulations? Like, you know, like children are a blessing, you know, and you know, it goes back to what I said earlier. Like, you can do anything you want to do. You can have it all. Like, you don't have to allow that to hold you back. If anything, it makes you even more influential. I mean, my kid thinks I'm freaking Superwoman. So
Amazing. Yeah.
yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, I think there's just so much pressure, you know, to balance it all.
Yeah. It's doable though. It's not easy, but it's definitely doable.
So we're gonna do a quick little thing. It's we're gonna do rapid hot tag. So I'm just gonna ask you a few questions. You're gonna say the first thing that comes to your mind. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Last show you binge watched?
Oof. Man. You. Season 1 of You on Netflix.
Oh, I haven't
It's a
heard
good
that.
one.
There's so many shows out there. A celeb you would love to meet?
Jennifer Lopez.
If you were a crayon, what color would you be?
Pink.
And if you were to have one last meal before you went to go into the heavens, what meal would that be?
Oh, that's a good one. Probably steak, because it's like guilty thing of mine. Like, I'm a pescatarian, so the only meat I eat is like seafood. So yeah,
I know that feeling.
Yeah, if I'm going out, I got to go out with a bang.
And and if one album you can listen to the rest of your life, what would it be?
It's so hard. Can I name 2?
Sure.
So one would definitely be 10 by Pearl Jam, my favorite band. And then this just shows like the range of music I listen to, but it would be Trap Soul by Bryson Tiller.
Oh, I like that album. Okay.
Yeah.
I love it. Thank you so
Yes.
much for
Yeah.
joining us. We really, really appreciate it. Where can everybody find you?
So right now you can find me at my house, but no.
Just knock on the
I'm
door.
on Twitter at Amber1 Rodriguez. I'm on Instagram under La Reina Renegada. Have fun spelling that. And Facebook as just Amber Rodriguez.
Thank you so much for
Amazing.
joining us.
Thank you.
Yes, thank
Really
you.
appreciate it.
It was
Look forward to
fun.
seeing all the good stuff, and especially like just you being an inspiration. I'm sure you have way more stories to tell. This is only tip of the iceberg. There's so many women wrestlers out there. I'm just so happy to see that, and I definitely want you to come back on the show, especially once we're done with this.
Yes,
Rona.
we
Yeah, I
want to
would
know
love to be
everything.
back.
Yeah, we want to know everything that's going on.
Yeah.
All right, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. And
All right, thank
before
you.
we get out of here, we're gonna hit the star of the week real quick.
Yay. All right. So this week's star of the week, we are talking about Mariah May. She is a UK-based pro wrestler. She started, of course, as a fitness model, and she is now moving into such amazing stuff in the pro wrestling scene in the UK. She's relatively new to the world of pro wrestling, making her official in-ring debut just over a year ago. But in that year alone, she's taken the UK wrestling scene by storm. She's with Hustle Wrestling. She's been in some great matches along the UK indie circuit. She's also had a tryout for NXT UK, which is so amazing in the early stages of her career. A huge following on social media, as well as a former ambassador for the WWE shop. And with all this going on, she still works a full-time day job while being a traveling pro wrestler. So I think that's absolutely incredible. So she's made a huge impact in her first year of wrestling. She's definitely shining, and I can't wait to see her evolve as a wrestler. So yeah, that's Mariah May. So she's our star of the week.
Thank you so much.
Amazing. Thanks,
Bryant.
Bryant.
So we are about to get out of here. Where can everybody find you, Emily?
So you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Emily May Hetler.
And Bryant?
You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok as the Bryant Santos.
And thank you so much again, Amber, for joining us. We really, really appreciate it. You can find, if you are following, you should be following us. You should be following us at WPW Weekly on AfterBuzz, on Instagram, Twitter, all that good stuff. If you're watching us on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you're listening to us on any podcast platforms, make sure to give us 5 stars or better and leave those comments. We really, really appreciate that. I've been kind of going back and reading the comments. I do read them just eventually. And you can follow me on everything at TK Trinidad. Till next time, guys. Ciao.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.